Hi, Dr. Hoffmeister. Thanks for adopting one of our board games. Today we'll learn about Detective Club. And forgive our area. We're still packing and everything. You can see all the boxes and everything. But let's go ahead and meet the players. So Detective Club is a game for 4 to 8 players, where one person will be an informer and the others are going to be detectives or conspirators. So here we have our yellow, green, blue, red, and orange player. Anyways, so this is a general setup. So each person is going to get a player board and a voting marker. They're going to start with 6 of these evidence cards, and then you're going to need 1 notebook for every player minus 1. So in an 8-player game, you only need 7. For a 6-player game, you only need 5, and so forth. There's also going to be these point markers over there, and the rest of the evidence cards are going to be in a deck right there. So every round, you're going to pick one person to be the informant. You can start with the first one randomly. In this case, I'll go first as the informant, and everyone else will be detectives. I'll collect all the notebooks from all the other players, and these are where I'm going to write the clues, or not. So once I've collected all of these, then I'm going to take a look at my hand of cards, the 6 cards that we started with. And as you can see, each one has all these very interesting, abstract, kind of surreal art here. This one's like a sunflower, you got a cat with a cape, you got this weird plant, some hummingbirds, and so forth. Now, looking at these, I'm going to give one clue word, and that's going to be the one for this round. And in the end, I'm going to end up playing 2 of these cards to represent that word to try and get other people to kind of go along and guess with that. So in this case, I'm going to choose the word boot because there's a little boot on this one over here and a boot here. So I'm going to kind of put these aside, and I'm going to take these. And for round 1, I'm going to write boot as the clue. I'm going to write that for all of these. All of these except for 1. They're just going to get a blank. Nothing there. Next, I'll take all of these notebooks that we had, which have the clue on it. We'll shuffle it up, shuffle it up, shuffle it up, and then randomly give them out to all of these players so that only I know who's the conspirator. Now, each player is going to secretly look at their notebook and internalize what that clue word is. All those detectives are going to internalize that clue because they all can see it, except for the conspirator. They get nothing. I, as the informant, start the round by playing 1 card that I think represents that word into my tableau here, right under the first part, because we're going to do 2 rounds total. Since the first round, everyone's going to play 1 card, then we're going to do a second round where everyone plays 1 card, and then at the end of that, we're going to vote on who we think is the conspirator. So then we'll go over here, and maybe Lobster Shin Chen's looking at his hand of cards and says, I don't really have a card that's like quite perfect, but, you know, I have this guy over here, and he's wearing some boots up there, so I'm going to play that as my first card over here. Great. Then we go around, and everyone else is going to play a card too. He's looking at his hands like, this is an obvious, easy one. Boom, done. Easy for him. Kitty Cat's looking through her hand. Maybe not something so great, but this girl's wearing some shoes, and maybe that's kind of like boot, so we'll play that one over here. And then this teddy bear guy has all of these ones. These are not even close to boots, but then sometimes you got to kind of work with it. Maybe like a cat's kind of like a Puss in Boots kind of thing, kind of related-ish, so that's as good as that's going to get. Ooh, and then we have the conspirator who has to pick theirs. And now it's conspirator's turn to play a card, but this is all that she gets to see. The initial clue card and all the other clue cards that were played before her turn. Let's take a listen on what's going on in her head.
Well, I know that this is the most important clue because this is the clue of the clue giver. I don't know what I see in common. A lot of people seem to be walking. I see boots. I don't really know what these are about. I'm gonna go with something walking, something human. That's gonna be mine.
And then we go around and do it for a second round. So after she's played hers, as a clue giver, I'm going to play mine again. Another one with a boot. Now, Lobster, the only guy, got something here. Maybe that person in the distance is wearing some boots. Oh my god, none of these really fit the bill, but at least there's some feet in this one. Even though they know the clue, they just don't have the right card. So we'll play that one for him. The cat one, I guess this guy's probably wearing boots on the job. The teddy bear, really, not even feet. There's nothing good, even though they're legit. Maybe the ladder here, you would need boots or, you know, some shoes to climb that ladder. That's as good as it's going to get. So now the conspirator has another set of cards that they need to internalize and try to figure out what that secret word is. So let's take a listen this time for the second round.
Once again, I'm going to put most weight on this clue because that's the clue giver's clue. It does have what I thought maybe another shoe, but I don't really get it with the other people's clues. Maybe they had no good cards, but what I do see is water. I see water here, water here, water. You need water to grow all these trees, water, water. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll switch. Maybe I'll say, maybe it's something to do with water.
After everyone has played 2 cards, now it's time to discuss and vote. And vote on who you think the conspirator is. So as informer, I'm going to announce the secret word was boot. And everyone's going to like, oh yeah, of course, So we kind of go around the table and they can defend themselves and discuss their cards. So maybe Lobster guy's like, well, you know, this one, I knew it was boots, so I played one with the guy with the boots on things, and then this guy's boots, and Alligator guy's like, oh yeah, of course, boots, like boots, boots, boots. And then that was the first round, so I didn't have all the cards for the second round, and so, you know, this guy has some feet maybe. and so on and so forth. And then the conspirators are going to try and justify their thing too, you know, saying,
Human wears boots. Octopus, 8 legs, wears 8 boots.
do you believe that? So now that everyone's had time to discuss and defend themselves, we're going to do the voting. So everyone's going to take their voting marker and on a count of 3, place in who they think is the conspirator. So we go 1, 2, 3. And then everyone's going to place their markers maybe here, here, maybe here, maybe here, and then maybe here. So we got our distribution of votes. Then everyone's going to do the great reveal. Who was the conspirator? Not you, not you, not you. Oh, it was the orange player after all. Now it's time to award points based on the votes. So first of all, for anyone who correctly guessed the conspirator, they get 3 points. So in this case, blue player gets 3 points. Great. Then you check to see how many votes the conspirator got. If it's 0 or 1 vote, then the conspirator has successfully hid from the others. And they get 5 whole points. Whoa. Not only that, but the clue giver, the informant, also gets 4 points for successfully hiding the conspirator. So the informant actually wants to keep things vague so the conspirator can hide. Alternatively, if theoretically the conspirator gets 2 or more votes, they do not succeed. So they don't get the points, and the informant also doesn't get the points. And whoever, in this case, both orange and blue, get 3 points for correctly identifying the conspirator. After the points are given out, you hide the number of points that you have, so you're sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Then the informant will pass the pencil and the notebooks to the left, the next person. We'll discard all the old cards, and everyone draws 2 new cards from the deck, and then you play the next round. And this will continue until everyone gets a chance to be the informant. You tally up the total number of points at the end, and whoever has the most points is the winner. And that's how you play Detective Club. So every round, someone's giving a clue. Everyone ends up playing 2 cards. You try to vote on the conspirator, and you see how many points you can get. May the best detective win.
Oh, wait.